Call the meeting to order.
Jenkins.
Here.
Harden.
Here.
Hahn.
Here.
McKinley.
Here.
Kesroy.
Here.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First thing that we have on this evening's agenda is the consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
I did have a question on the electric fund. I noticed that there were no electric charges this month. In fact, it was a negative number, 1989.36. So it showed a negative balance for the period of negative $200,000. It'd be Fund 530, Electric Fund,
Page 31.
page 31.
I'll check and get you an answer.
I appreciate that. I remember paying my power bill, so I know somebody did.
Okay.
Call it?
Jenkins.
Yes.
Hahn.
Yes.
Harden.
Yes.
McKinley.
Yes.
Kesroy.
Yes.
Motion carries.
There being no unfinished business, we move to section 3, new business. First, we have Keith on here to give us an update on renewing tips. Sir, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor. Thanks, and good to see you. Happy to work with you. One for you, Larry.
Thank you, sir.
Maybe you got an extra copy, but again, thanks again for having me, guys. And I'm very much looking forward to working with you guys through this process. This very much is a process. Sort of a best laid plans is kind of where we lie right now. It's taken us a little bit to go get with the county, pull all the appropriate mapping data. We've also gone through and pulled assessed values and those types of things. But first things first, where do we kind of want this thing? Where can it do the most good for the community as we look out over a 20-year plan? I mean, they last 23 years, but over a 23-year lifespan. Where's our greatest bang for the buck? How do we do I think it's in our best interest to really only concentrate on one area. I don't see a need to break this thing up in any ways. I think and what we've done is we've given you sort of a draft, obviously, in the red. In terms of focus for our audience folks, basically the TIF district area here, it's going to allow us to do some development in and around the interstate, or at least to have a program designed to help stimulate development in and around the interstate. It's certainly going to take in places like the hotel and some of the other sort of our commercial corridor along 54 there, and then certainly there's a downtown presence to it, which that's where a lot of TIF districts wind up, and I think there's a lot of good that the TIF program can do for your downtown as we look out over 23 years. We kind of extend north a little bit from there. I'm kind of just giving you sort of the circle, where we get into some more of our commercial users, our industrial users, the folks that create jobs for the community. We'd want to have the TIF program in there to retain those folks or to obviously bring in new folks as well. And so that's pretty much our starting area. A couple questions as we kind of go through it. This is very much a working meeting as far as I'm concerned with you guys. Have I appropriately depicted your other TIF district area?
Yeah, I believe so.
I think I did. We were able to pull some different sort of maps and pull that together online. And so, and what you'll note is that would be contiguous to this brand new TIF district area, allowing you guys to move monies from one area to the next as needed over the TIF's existence.
So you're taking in the old TIF district and putting it into this new one?
No, unless you guys would want to.
But you're saying monies from the new TIF district can go back into the old TIF district?
Yes, sir. So, both back and forth, which makes sense, actually, and I think, let's say, for instance, we had some sort of commercial user or maybe a hotel development that wanted to occur right next to the interstate. And we needed to make some public improvements that we don't have in our general fund budget. What can effectively occur is you can take money from this TIF, move it into this TIF, and use that money to help make public improvements. You had that ability, is my point.
Well, okay, I'll understand that, but I'm talking about the old TIF district that we just expired.
That one's done. That one's
done.
That one's done.
But your rent in here incorporates some of that old TIF district.
Yeah, so it's almost, that doesn't even exist in our brains. It's a TIF
So
that's
what you got
expired.
read here is the new.
It would be
proposed.
completely new, yes. Completely new. And then the business district, we didn't really work that up, but I figured through this process, if that was something we wanted to implement, which would be another nice boost, we could very much mimic whatever area. We could probably reduce it in size if you really wanted. But that would be up to you. But I figured we'll start with TIF and just work through the business district separate. So I don't know what your thoughts are. I don't need to know all of them tonight. I don't want to pretend like that. But our general timeline is, hey, let's feel good about where our area. You guys know Farmer City better than I could ever know Farmer City, although I will be digging in. Get us a starting point. And then what we'll do is we'll go through some eligibility characteristics. How does the area qualify under the Illinois TIF Act? And then from that point forward, we decide if we want to actually do the TIF at that point. And that's when it gets a little formal, same with the business district. But yeah, try to keep cleaner boundaries. Don't want to get too jaggedy. It saves money on our legal description, and it's just, you want cleaner boundaries if you can. So that's why some properties are going to wind up in a TIF that marinate might not automatically have to be part of it. Because this, I think we all believe that this is more of a commercial and industrial type TIF. And so that's, but there will be some residential properties that wind up in it just.
So will they be eligible for the TIF money?
Yes. If the council chose to extend the TIF money. Just by being in a TIF doesn't mean you're eligible to receive money. That ultimately would be a council decision.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry, go ahead, Scott.
What would residents use the TIF money for?
They probably, I doubt that you wouldn't. You'd use that money for infrastructure that supports some of the residences there. But we're not, I'm just saying, there's going to be residences in here just as a function of it having to be contiguous. Some residences are going to wind up there because 15 years from now, that may not no longer be a single family home. It could be an insurance agency or a florist or something along those lines.
So, Keith, let me ask you then. This thing really gets going, but in order to get started, we take some of the money out of the current residential TIF. Because I don't want people being all upset that they're thinking that this current TIF is going to get milked dry by this. This thing gets going, then we can put money back into this. Is that correct?
Absolutely. That's,
for residential to be building that subdivision?
this is like holding hands here. And we don't. You never know how the economy is going to develop. No one thought that the housing boom was going to just tank. But who knows? Maybe we bring a more of an economic development focus to the Farmer City that draws more interest in folks. Now all of a sudden, folks want to build houses again in Farmer City, and so one can help the other, and that's sort of the goal. Or I'd like to think that would be our goal.
This looks good.
The next map you guys have is a land use map. It's the same difference, a little bit harder to read and depict. And so picture same area. The TIF is bound in a more solid red border. Yellow would be, our green is agricultural, yellow is residential, red commercial. You can kind of see the key into the upper left. In terms of how the county has some of this ground classified. So, that's where our focus was. In some cases we wanted to include the school, other cases we might want to include your park, just other areas that you might ultimately would want to use TIF funds over a 23-year time frame. It's kind of how we went and chose this.
The school is not in.
Actually the school isn't in, but I did know that, I'm sorry, but they don't have to be in order for us to assist in some way, shape, or form down the road. They don't actually have. Taxing districts work separate. A business has to be in the TIF. Taxing districts don't necessarily have to be in the TIF in order to
So we can use
assist.
TIF funds for the school even though they're not in the
Yes,
TIF district?
absolutely.
For what rate, for what purpose?
Think generally more in lines of capital costs is generally how folks are helping the schools through TIF. So, because of growth in our TIF, it's caused more
A need
folks
for
have
another building or something like that?
Yeah, but I think mostly building rehab, generally speaking.
Not building a new building, but refurbishing the building?
You can get, building a new building, there's some things that we could do to help them, maybe through financing or something along those lines, but there's, depending on how we put the deal together, yeah, there would be that potential.
You said this is mainly a commercial TIF. Is that?
That's how I thought it would be, but if you guys,
What's the difference between, well, we have let me just give you a scenario out here. We have, and it's in the yellow, in TIF 2, we have a subdivision out there. And we would love to work with current landowner to expand this, adding new homes to the subdivision. But let's say for some reason they decide they don't want to work with us. I could take funds from TIF 2 and move it over to the new TIF district to a portion and then start developing other
yes.
land for residents.
If you wanted to, yeah, there's nothing that prohibits you from doing residential in the new.
So I mean, if we go forward with you, we don't have to clarify that this is a particular,
No.
so we would still, with this plan, we'd still be able to do that.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. Because I think that would be at least important.
Yeah, we would want to give you that ability. I mean, no one really knows what's going to happen 15, 20 years out. And if someone wanted to build in some area, somewhere appropriate for another residential development in this TIF, you would be allowed to do that and support that through TIF funds.
So on this section right here, you got all these businesses in here, but then these two here are outside of it. How did that work out?
Which business?
You know, we just stopped it, truthfully. They should probably come in. Talking about,
On Depot Road.
yeah. Yeah, at first I was going to say, we had to watch your corporate boundaries big time, because obviously only properties in our corporate can come in. But yeah, no, there was no, that, we should put them in.
Okay. And all the businesses on 54 west of Main Street are not in this.
Some of them might be in the existing TIF.
Okay.
They're the existing.
Mhm.
All right.
So yeah, if you look at
But they did, all right, I guess I'm confused. The existing TIF is expired.
No,
No.
No.
the existing TIF is yellow. So now,
You have one
this is the
active
existing
TIF.
right here. This yellow is all,
We had a TIF 1 that expired
TIF 1 expired.
last year.
This is TIF 2.
that's TIF 2.
All right, I'm getting clear now.
TIF 1's not on here, because it's.
Yeah, that's,
It is.
so that one was done in 1999.
But
Right. All right, it's coming to me. I got it.
Yep. So yeah, between the two TIFs we got, and yeah, I definitely need, I should add those, or I would, and we can do that, no problem. But yeah, we're generally covered TIF-wise, from a commercial standpoint. Anything that would or should develop commercially, it should be covered. And if we're not, please just let me know.
that's outside the city.
And now keep in mind, business district, by the way, we can, that map can be drawn completely. It's almost like we can wipe this away. Know that too. And just start with a fresh map. So just be thinking about where you want your business district to go to, because that's going to generate some good money. That's definitely going to generate some decent. And so if we needed to extend that, like here, down 54, for instance, we could do that.
So the business district just overlays on this.
Yeah, we could do that. We definitely wouldn't take it over all of your TIF number 2, or, yeah.
And, do it less.
Right.
We probably wouldn't do that, but just kind of think about where we'd want that. I think we would definitely start with where TIF 3. I don't know. Yeah, let's get some names to these things.
1, 2, and 3 makes sense, but.
We'll just call it TIF 3, Mayor, or
That's fine, TIF 3.
even though just so everybody knows, we're not gonna have to do it. So yeah, we'll call it TIF 3. I definitely see the business district here, and then what I would maybe see is maybe we run it a little bit down here too, so that we'll cover that. That's up to you guys.
He said we could do multiple business districts. For example, if you may, real quick, kind of circle this area right here as a business district. I could do a second business district here.
Could you describe what you're doing?
I can give you the map.
Yeah,
I mean, for the,
Well, I'm looking.
just in general?
I will help. I just had to go see what we're doing.
I can do a business district right here. I can add a second business district here. The tax increase can be right here. And this is touching no tax increase, but we can.
You could do that too. You could do that, yeah. What we're talking about is a business district overlay. We're talking TIF, but the city is considering a business district development area. Within that area, and I had some other further information, that's more of a sales tax based redevelopment program. What the mayor has outlined, we're in very beginning stages of all of this stuff, just so everybody knows, we're very much in draft area, is by doing 2 business district areas at the same time. One where there's a slight increase in the sales tax within that general area. The other area where there's not any sales tax increase, but it does give you other municipal powers over and above that too, so then you could transfer monies from that area to the next. And I have no problem doing either of those. It is 2 different plans altogether though.
Right.
There's some cost factors and public hearing factors and some mailing factors if you're going to do 2 rather than 1, but nothing atrocious or crazy. But I would get why you do it.
Well,
In the sense
we don't
that-
have an increase of tax on our smaller
Right.
businesses, if you would, and but still they have the benefits of a business district. So, what's our next step?
Next step is just to get us, so that we can do our jobs better, is get us feeling good about what our starting point is. And this, plus some of the properties you've suggested adding, we can do an analysis from there. Come back, say, hey, this is how the area qualifies for tax increment financing. These are some general outlines. We're going to know everything about property values. We're going to know all sorts of things about this area now that we've started. And then I just go over that report, and from there, it's going to get you guys kind of in the groove, and we'll talk about what we want to do business district-wise, and if you want to even proceed with TIF number 3 from that point forward.
One thing I've seen in research I've been doing is that we would need to exempt our properties from the TIF district, is that correct?
No.
Really? Okay, that's what I heard up in Chicago, is one thing I hadn't seen that as well.
Mhm.
Okay, all right.
Nope. Actually, in some ways, if they were surplus properties, you'd want to use the TIF to maybe get somebody to buy them, for instance. And I don't know what
I'm
there
sorry,
are.
I don't
He's talking about-
I apologize.
He
I should've-
owns his.
So
a
city
business.
council, a personal
Oh,
commercial property I own,
yes.
we need to be exempt from that.
Yes, we would. I was going to actually bring that up
Accept
at a later date, but yes, we would. If you do own single family, it's fine if someone happened to live there, but if you do own commercial property, yes, you would.
Now, so do we need to?
Would you let me know?
Access to Larry?
I think, yeah, if you wouldn't mind addresses.
Sure.
Yes, thank you for bringing that up.
Okay, I just want to make sure as we're working on the addresses, so, okay, thanks.
The councilmen who are sitting here now, if they were to leave office, they could reapply and get back in to that TIF district, or is that a?
I mean, you could if you chose to amend the TIF at that point, meaning we'd have to do an eligibility study on the parcel that needs to come in. You'd have to, I know, it's a whole thing. I don't like this rule either. It's very much Chicago-based.
I understand.
Yeah, no, I mean, you'd have to, there'd be a cost to it. You'd have to amend your plan and get comfortable with us, because if we go through this, I'm going to be here for 6 months. you know, kind of just taking you through the steps and public hearings and taxes. All that would have to occur by adding another property in down the road. I know, that's a Chicago thing. Or you can keep it in and just never have anything to do with the TIF ever, period.
Right, as far as being,
Like,
talking about
change
it,
the law
hearings,
things.
anything, correct,
Yeah.
yeah. And that doesn't seems easier to just exempt. Thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions?
So you're basically going, want everybody to look at this and kind of come into an agreement on the boundaries?
Yeah, just our starting point. And I mean, do we got a general, I mean,
I like Councilman Testery's recommendation that we, these two, the two
Yeah, those
commercial
should be in.
pieces right here. I'm not, does anybody see any additional or any?
Those properties were in the TIF that expired.
Okay.
I really think you guys could do we'll really be able to do some things like real change here in Farm City with what we're doing here. Like with the revenue streams that you got, you can, I really, especially downtown, I mean, I like the work you guys are already doing since I've last been here, but I really think we can move that into a downtown that we all would want to see. Not that it's bad now, but even better.
Any objection to this map?
No, but I'd like to spend a little more time with it than just the time we've had right now. So I mean, this is a changing document, right? We're not.
Yeah,
locked
you know, in
into
the
anything.
end, and the nice thing that you guys did the pre-eligibility study is that we're going to give you a report on it. We're just going to go ahead and add those two properties. We're going to give you a full analysis on what it is. Technically, you don't have to decide what goes in the TIF until you actually start a TIF, because that's what starts the clock in the process and you know, just the process of the TIF. And at some point, the area has to freeze. But we could bump into something as we look and be like, oh, hey, there's a brownfield over there. We should probably throw, you know, that kind of thing will come up.
Okay. Cool.
If you're gonna go back over on Depot Road, we own that 15.6 acres that Scott had talked about a couple times. It would be beneficial, since we own that, wouldn't it, to go ahead and include that as well?
This guy over there.
Yes.
That's where I was driving.
Yeah.
If this is gonna help the housing development, that would be a good property to include into that. This here, you know, it comes all the way to this line here, to this line.
Yes. Well, that is Maxwell County.
Okay. Yeah. I was gonna put that in too. I didn't know you guys owned it, but that's good. Yeah. Okay. And then we'll come back December-ish. I don't know, kind of work with you guys timeline-wise. Definitely by January. We'll be ready to present sort of.
We have one meeting in January. for that.
He needs special meetings.
Nah,
Okay.
I'll work with you.
So, we'll look forward to it.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you guys very much. You'll be seeing more. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Yep.
Here's an extra copy. Here's
Okay, you guys, I don't have any copies, so.
Very good.
One has 90 sign, one does not have 90 sign.
Whenever you're ready.
All right, make a motion to approve resolution 2015-33, authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with Lane Christensen for well number 11.
I'll second it.
Discussion?
A couple different times now in meetings, I've kind of tried to keep you guys going on this well number 11. Now that the final estimate has come in and you see what the dollar amount is, $25,370, that is going to put the new piping down in, the new well. What they found out was that it had an old steel screen in the bottom instead of a brass screen. It sucked all the mud up. That was back a couple months ago when we got some really nasty water. They've run the camera down it. They've done everything. The well casing appears to be good from the camera going down in. This is really our number one well. So obviously it's something that we need to take action on.
It's the one, the treatment plant, right?
Yes, it is.
Any other discussion?
Sounds good.
Call it.
Holly,
Yes.
Hardy,
Yes.
McKinley,
Yes.
Story,
Yes.
Jenkins,
Yes.
motion carried.
Next order of new business, we have Mary's going to present the Heritage Days recap. You have the floor.
I just want to thank you for supporting Heritage Days last year. I gave you a copy of everything. I think it was 100% better than the year before, and we have a contract with the same carnival for this coming year. The 5K numbers were up, Kids Fun Run was new, and we had over 75 kids that participated. And we had lots of the groups in town helping, either volunteering or, as vendors. So we hope that this coming year will be even better. And Erin's going to tell you about that.
Okay, my turn. Okay.
Yes.
Well, we're hoping for this year to go a little bit more in the direction of like how Muhammad does their Riverfest. We're just hoping to do a little bit better on the entertainment end of it and try to draw more people in like they do. We have, I think, a better carnival than what Muhammad does, so I've been kind of talking to them, getting ideas, I just feel like groups like this, we're all kind of in the same boat, and they're, as close to our population, closer than like Urbana or any other places that I've kind of been in contact with as far as celebrations like this. But we are hoping to get a beer tent this year, so that is kind of what we are pleading for tonight, is your guys' consideration to that. I don't really know exactly what we need to do, what is, would be our responsibility. We were thinking a non-for-profit in town to possibly coordinate it and run it, and then, get like a 2-day permit from like 5 to 12 or whatever time, 5 to 11, like Friday and Saturday night. And then how other towns do it, like Muhammad does it, you have a station where everyone gets carded, there's a station before you even walk in, pass beyond that point, everyone would have a wristband, so, that's the way that you would monitor. And, we were thinking possibly trying to get like a part-time police officer to be there for those like 2 nights to just help us with, just the crowd control and all of that. But from people that I talked to, like event promoters and all of that, they really think that having the beer tent just helps with everything to bring people in, and not that that's the only reason, but it's an asset when you're having an event like this. So, and we're just hoping to, do something that the community is going to come on board with. I think last year was a good start to it. We had good numbers. Just the armbands, we sold 250 on Friday night. We sold, 1,020 tickets Saturday. So we actually made a little money, which we had never really done before since I've been doing it in the 3 years. So that was exciting. But I think we're trying to just do as much as we can to have a nice festival for our town, and just to bring everybody together, and something for families in our town to have locally. So, and yeah, we're just hoping to go in a little bit different direction this year with the beer tent, and having maybe a little bit bigger bands than what we've had in the past. So
We hope to draw more people from out of town.
we're hoping to draw people from out of town too.
Do you have a non-for-profit in mind yet?
I have a list that I could bring of just ones like in Farmer City. I just kind of got.
used to do that.
Right, and that, in Muhammad, they do like the Lions Club, which we don't have anything like that around here, but I did like go on the state of Illinois website, like just to see who was like current and up to date with their status for non-for-profit. So there were several. I didn't know if that was like our responsibility, if that was.
I would imagine I would think it'd be the non-for-profit.
Or I mean, for who to come up with that non-for-profit? Would it be the city, or would it be us, or I don't know who would be in charge.
I think we're gonna have a list of guidelines. They have to, we thought about sending letters to all the non-for-profits and explaining the guidelines we want. You have to have the police officer, you have to have someone card, all these different guidelines, and see if they're interested. And if they're interested, then either we make a decision or the city council makes a decision. We just, hope to maybe get other groups involved too. If it's so busy, maybe, I don't know.
Like the educational foundation could help, for like a couple hours, or like the baseball corporation
share the
could help.
profits between
Right, like
all
so
the
everybody
groups.
kind of profits from this, and all the group, all kinds of different groups within
How about
the
help with the beer
community.
tin or help with the whole?
Oh, the beer tent.
The beer tent, we'll have to have like quite a few people helping, so we just didn't know, thought maybe different organizations could come in and help with that and make some money off of it, because it's, in every other town that I've looked into, it's very profitable as far as like the money that they bring in from that. I know Muhammad gets a percentage, and it's just grown and grown every year, so.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
I went to Muhammad and checked on this to see how they handle it and everything, because I think it would be beneficial to us to do this. It's a special license. It may be for 5 or 6 hours, 2 nights out of this and all. But their not-for-profit over there was a Lions Club, and they had the city took something off of it. They had to give so much back into the community of what was made. I mean, they had to disclose what was going with what they came up with for the night, which I thought was a pretty good deal. Whoever we were to do this on a non-for-profit basis would have to put that money back into the community in some way. Maybe they get to keep some of it in their pocket, but they would have to put the better part of it back into the community, and which I think is all what this is all about. And it could be a very well run. I think the side of it, because Aaron and I have talked about this, where it would be is kind of a questionable thing right now.
That was my question.
Where we would have this at and how it would be. I told her, I said, I wouldn't go along with this unless it is pretty well controlled. It's going to have to be pretty tight. I want it to be a good thing. I want it to be a bad thing. And of course, you have stumbling blocks when you first start out, because that's what they told me, Muhammad. They did things wrong, so they've learned through doing over the years and have got it down. Theirs is pretty much open. They have it right next to City Hall. You're carded to get a band put on your wrist and everything, and when you go to buy a drink and everything, that band has to be there so they can see that and all. Nothing ever really got out of it.
Do they stay in a certain area?
Right, it's all.
It's contained.
Like, for example, if we were over here by where the band sets up,
Right.
did you shut those streets off, and is that what you got in mind?
Yeah, we were kind
Closing
of
off an
thinking like
area.
possibly doing the stage like parallel to kind of like Nussbaum's building, like at the end of the circle right there, and then having all of that be open, like from the Nussbaum's Rock parking lot all the way back to the VFW.
But in
Just
that
having
area.
all of that open, and then possibly, but we are probably going to hire an event promoter to help us with like the bands and stuff, because when you get into like a little bit bigger bands, it's a little bit more tricky, and we just need somebody to assist us. But he wants to come and like look at the space too, so he might be, because he's the one that does Muhammad's. So that might be beneficial too, to see what he says as far as like, does he think this is the right place? And then maybe we could like, come back once he comes over here and sees it, and then give you guys some feedback on that. I just, I'm not really sure, and I didn't know what anyone here thought as far as.
If you're thinking something along the lines of the Feuding Hillbillies or Brushville, you're talking pretty big crowd.
We're talking better than them.
Yeah, we're talking,
Then that area, I don't know that it'd hold it.
Well, we're talking a really good band. I mean, we're
Yeah,
talking.
and Muhammad, I mean, if you went and saw Muhammad where they have their bands at, and they just had Lone Star, I mean, and they had a lot of people, but like their area is not very big. So, you know, I think if he came over here and like, you know, he does a lot of these shows, so I mean, I think he would like definitely tell us and be like, this is not gonna work, you know, because I don't think he would let us, you know, go through with it if he thought that the space, or we'd have to figure something else out.
How soon-
Duspon's building is the old IH building,
Yeah.
but you're not talking about using his parking lot.
No. Just having like to where the band, like the stage right there where the band could like pull up in his lot. Cause he lets us use that building and stuff for
Right.
the weekend. So maybe just where they could like pull stuff up just to unload the
But
equipment.
the band would be over here where it usually is. And then the square would be the,
Well, yeah, we were possibly thinking about moving the band to the opposite end of that same side of the street, but just to the end of New Spald's building.
Like how the smokehouse was last year, right?
Yeah, right there. Yeah, just kind of like parallel to that lot. So then someone could pull up and unload that equipment really quick, you know, easily.
so I guess what I'm saying is the square would become your beer tent then.
I mean, we
No,
were thinking
I don't
like
think so.
half of the square, like
No.
the VFW side and then the open.
Logistics we have to figure out.
Right.
But, you know, we have to
But the
see
main
if we
thing,
can get a permit.
right, yeah, we have to get through this hump first and then we can go further with it, but we just, you know, we don't know. We need approval on this before we can proceed, I guess.
That, we would not be able to give you approval today,
That's,
but
no, that's fine.
because you've requested, it will be on the next council meeting for discussion and debate, and that is the first Monday, it'll be the first Monday in December.
Will you guys have will the event promoter be able to give you guys any feedback by then, do you think, or anything? Or is
I
that
mean, I can
too
have
soon?
him come over and
It
just
I think
give
that
us a general, yeah.
That
I mean,
might
if
help
he could-
answer some questions.
Right, yeah.
Would you happen to know if, or I mean, are you gonna reach out to your non-for-profits and maybe have an idea of who's gonna sponsor this item?
If you want us to, I mean, I didn't know if you wanted us to do that before we know if we're even approved to do it. Because I don't know if we should even like,
I'd like to know if there's non-for-profits that are interested,
okay,
and I think that, that'll go a long way,
okay.
at least in my decisions.
Should we push this decision to more than 2 weeks from now next? I don't want you guys to feel rushed into anything either. I mean, we got the time, you know.
Right, are you guys
I
gonna
think the
have,
second meeting.
will you have a second meeting in December? Okay, maybe let's do the second meeting in December if that's okay, and then it gets
How's
us a little
the
bit.
beer license work? Are we giving, would the city give them the beer license or are they using somebody else's beer
No,
license?
that's what we're talking about, the non-for-profit would be the one to get the beer license.
They'd have to hold.
They're gonna apply for that and then get the special license
You'll
on that.
need to apply that through the mayor.
Well, yeah. Go through all the hoops. I
That'll
hope.
be December 21st.
December
We're not using an
21st.
existing beer license.
No,
we're using
Special temporary.
Special temporary permit.
Yes,
Yeah, it would just be like a 2-day permit.
special event permit, I think is what it's.
Okay, December 21st.
Yes.
Okay. All right, yeah, and I will,
On that, just a couple of things, it's somewhat unrelated, but somewhat related. The chamber sent the city council a letter requesting that there be a meeting. I spoke with you on the phone a little bit about this, Mary, requesting a meeting with us and Heritage Days, the committee as well. I would like to get another council person, myself, a couple from the chamber, and you all as well, just to kind of discuss a few things that they're bringing up, just discussion.
That's fine, just set a date and we'll be there.
I'll have Larry set something up there. Additionally, and I also told you this on the phone, Clark Foundation did approve the $5,000 request that you gave. They are requesting that you come to the next meeting, and that is, let's see, the 30th of January. That's 8 a.m. at Emos. So I'd love to have at least a representative there as well. So was there any other questions?
I'll volunteer to go, on the meeting.
I think that would probably be best. You're on the chamber, so it'd be, you're on Heritage Days committee, correct? So No?
No, he's not.
No.
Could be. If you want me on there, I'll be on there.
So,
Okay, we'll pass, Willard.
When are you thinking about having this meeting? Here in December?
I would say at least,
Before the end of the year, is that what you're thinking?
I don't think that matters. I don't think that's relevant to the
I mean,
request.
I think it's just, I mean, if you have time, let's just do it. Let's just, the sooner the better, right? I mean, let's just
You do
lay it all
weekends?
out.
We're probably gonna go with the Chamber of Commerce to,
Let me do my calendar real quick.
You got another schedule, whichever way.
It's hard.
Doesn't matter to me.
If you can do weekends, we can reach out to the chamber and see if this
Well,
weekend.
John can come, can you and Paul be the representative?
Well,
of
if
the chamber?
there's two of them there, I probably shouldn't.
Oh.
send
Can't have
three
more
of
than
them
two. Otherwise it's a meeting.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah, as long as Jonathan's out of the country, he can probably be there.
Well, sure.
Yeah, tough luck.
I mean, I'm looking at December 5th. If that'll work, we can set something up with the chamber and then
What day is December 5th?
it's on a Saturday.
That's fine.
I'm just
Okay.
getting killed during my
So
weekdays.
you and Scott gonna handle
I
that?
think that'd be fine.
If not December 5th, what into January, December 5th meeting work for me.
If it doesn't, we'll work.
I mean, we can always go into January if it's that, I mean.
And that's fine, that's
I'll be
fine.
free anytime in January.
That's true.
Lucky.
Congratulations on that as well.
Thank you.
That'll give the councilmen at least time to at least touch base. If you haven't read the letter, then we'll make sure that you get a copy of the letter and they can also touch base.
Can we have a copy of the letter?
Yep. Any other questions? The Heritage Days, you all did so awesome last year. I was just thoroughly impressed with your choice in the carnival and just the way it was ran. I thought it was absolutely wonderful. I'm looking forward to you all continuing with that. So, and we'll
Cool.
take your
Thank
request.
you.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
We move now to section 4, other items, city manager's report.
Just got a couple things here real quick. We received a telephone call, I believe last Tuesday from the auditors. They've located a new statute that says that they must make a presentation to their clients to go over any questions that you have on the audit. You know, at the last meeting, we presented the audit, but, so they're gonna come in, they're gonna answer any questions that you had on that document. It's something that by law, they have to do. So if you have any questions about why they're doing it after, you can throw that at them. The annual IMEA meeting was just this past weekend. Some of the information coming out of there is that the ICC has tentatively okayed Ameren 11.6 increase in the residential rates. So when people continue to complain about Farmer City's rates, just keep in mind that Ameren's is starting to go up. Scott Kelly and the chief of police and myself, we all met. We started going over some of the ground rules for the campsite out there. Just a lot of different issues were brought up. And the most important thing is, and of course, while they're still out there cleaning, they've been allowed to camp. But it's going to be shutting down December 1st, same as Stencil Park. It'll be closed for approximately 3 months, and that's weather dependent. We don't have an ordinance that regulates the actual closing date or opening date. But that will allow us to make sure that all the rules are in place and everybody's comfortable with the way that the thing's going to be run. And then tomorrow morning down to the Clinton Chamber of Commerce, Brian McCready from the Macon County Economic Development will be there as a guest speaker. So I'm going to go down there. I know Mark will probably...
Sponsored by DCDC.
Yes. That's what I got.
it was posted on Facebook that the park's gonna be free now for access.
It's open now. What do you mean,
Which
free for
part?
access?
Well, originally I thought there was gonna be a cost for camping there, a nominal fee of some kind. But my wife was telling me that that was posted that there's not gonna be a cost for camping now, it's just gonna be.
We haven't even discussed that.
Yeah, we really haven't ironed that down, and then, it was gonna be an honor box, Scott, and And so, will those funds actually be there and get turned in? And so, it's leaning like it's gonna be a freebie.
So you're in the process of ironing it all out?
Yes.
Cool.
Have you been out, see what they've,
I have.
and I'd like to say that they've done a heck of a job out there. And not only out there at South Park, Stencils looks real nice too.
Right.
They've done a good job.
Any questions to the city manager's report? Non-agenda items?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
About the last meeting I wasn't at, when you passed that liquor license, I have to question it, because is she a resident? I guess I'd like to see the application.
Okay.
Is that available?
Now?
Now. Good.
Well, you got the floor, but can I ask who applied for that license? Whose name's on it?
Business is the Garden House.
These are on the last page.
It's a partnership, Mac.
Who is it?
What is it? John Griffin or
Who is it? Baker and who? McCoy? Lindsay McCoy. Is Lindsay from here in town?
Yes.
Is she the one that's renting the property?
She's on the lease.
She's on the lease.
Yes.
So we've covered our bases then. Do they have a bond? They're supposed to have a $2,000 bond.
I would,
No.
has anybody ever come in and posted a bond?
They have, your ordinance says they have to have a bond. They have no bond, do they?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
And I don't, in all honesty, I don't know of anyone that's come in and posted a bond.
Well, then that's something we probably need to visit, you know, because that's my next, I'll get to that. But, okay, we need to post a bond. We haven't done that, so we need to do that. Background check, we did a background check on all of them.
I believe the police department did do that. It says that they have to be a good moral character.
Did you get a copy of the lease? I don't see a copy of the lease here.
No, we don't have a, I can get a copy of the lease. She did say that she would provide that.
Did she proof of dram shop insurance?
She had to provide a dram shop insurance when she went to Springfield to get her state license.
So we don't have a copy of that either,
Correct.
so we need a copy of that. The other thing too, Sandy, when these,
Yeah, we'll have to get copies for everybody that has a license.
I think that's something you need to do. I think every time these people come around and renew their license, you know, we have to make sure that we get, everything's in order. And, because we're violating our own code when we don't do that. I know there's been some question about her not being a resident and everything, primarily on my part and all that, so we've covered her base on that and everything. She has partners in this, I guess. but also it's brought up the fact that, Casey's, Huck's, and the grocery store, the owners of those do not live in town.
Right, and that's corporation.
That's right. So I think they have a special license that covers them underneath that, because I really don't know.
I checked with that when, if you remember correct, she originally started this back in June, and so we questioned that because years ago with the old Casey's, the manager was listed on the local license, she passed away, and no one when Huck's came to town was listed on the license, they were not a resident of the community. I checked with Kempeth, so they're a corporation, so they fall under different guidelines
That's
by the
right.
state.
They fall into different guidelines, but we don't have a specific license for that type of a thing.
No.
Because when Casey's came into town, everybody at that time that had a liquor license lived in Farmer City. So maybe we need to revamp that too, revisit that here in the very near future. I think that the liquor code is something, this was done 20 years ago, it needs to be redone again. We need to go through it and check it, make sure and get brought in, and make sure everybody is doing what they're supposed to be doing according to the liquor code and everything.
And right, and I would say that the catch-all would be the state statutes if we're missing something there. So,
Yeah, the state statute would be, because that's what this is basically based off of and everything, it's just a copy of it. The only thing we determine here is the rate of the fee for the license and everything and the hours of operation. That's basically all the city does. The rest of it is followed by the state.
I'd like to add a little
What's that?
when Willard's finished.
Okay.
Well, at this point, I'll give up the floor. But the other thing too is the residency thing. I think that needs to be changed too, because in the state code, it says that any city, county, or, it doesn't say anything about, we've drifted down to the township. And I know why that was done, because certain ones lived outside the city of Farmer City, so to cover them, they just said, okay, we'll put the township. I'm not really sure if that should be that way.
Yeah, and I don't know, but when you questioned it once about that they weren't a resident of the community, unfortunately, that says the
That broadens
township.
it. That broadens it out.
Right.
I'm not sure maybe this is legal.
Now, maybe that was the case because the manager of Huck's lived in the township. So maybe
That very well could have been that.
and maybe that was the enticement when Huck's was coming to town. I don't know.
Well, not Huck's, but Casey's.
Well,
Because Casey's at the time, because that would have thrown Shannon in there, because she lived in Greenleaf Hills.
okay.
And that's when, I'm not sure when Casey's came here, well, about that time in '95, and about the time she's taken over when they did things, so that's why they probably changed that. But I think that needs to be put back into the city if they're going to have, especially on pour and serve. If they're going to have pour and serve, you got to live in town. Mr. Arden, you're on.
I wasn't at the last meeting like Willard, and a few days before that, it was voted 5-0 not to grant it. And I guess the reason was an address, is that correct?
I had another reason against it as well,
Okay.
and I'll bring that up here in a second.
But anyway, at the next meeting, it was voted 3-0 in favor of it. I've had a lot of people ask me how it can change in a matter of a few days unanimously one way or the other. Well, if I would have been here, it wouldn't have been unanimous. And I just want the public to know that.
So would I.
I don't know where this is going. I'm going to put my personal views here. A flower shop with a gambling parlor in the back is not, I just don't see that. It just doesn't sit well with me. But I hope it works for her. I hope she makes money. I don't even know Brenda Baker.
Yeah.
It's nothing personal, because I don't even know her.
I feel the same way Mac does. I have nothing against this woman really at all. Maybe in the process, the way it's done. It's kind of just like the Jim Swartz property. I didn't like the fact the way things were done there. Nothing against Jim Swartz. He can come ask every city council he wants to close the street. I did not go along with that. I thought it was the wrong thing to do. I have nothing against Brenda Baker, and I want that to be understood. I want that camera to understand that, and I want you, from the press, to understand that too. You write that in the paper.
Yeah, it's nothing personal. Like I said, I don't even know the lady. But it just, I guess what I would say, we got pencil whipped, is how I would put
It's the
it.
manner in which this thing is handled. I think.
Yeah, I didn't really get into that. But it is what it is. We don't have too many disagreements, but this was one of them.
I'll explain my vote. I voted no because she didn't show up at the first meeting, and I'm an advocate of free market. She showed up at the next one and explained that she wanted this and she wanted to compete. Tonight is my wedding anniversary. I'm here. So,
I don't know what that has to do with it, but
well,
Happy anniversary.
happy anniversary.
There were legal arguments why she should not get a license. There were personal arguments why she should not get a license. I personally think it's a bad idea to have gambling and liquor in a flower shop. I also think that it's a bad business decision to take a market that's already tapped in this city and add that to try to save your business. You know, apparently maybe Homer Simpson was right. Alcohol is the cause of and solution to all of life's problems. However, I can't vote on my personal opinions. I have to vote based on the legal objections. So once the legal objections were removed, I felt obligated to vote in favor of that. So I still agree with all of you. Well, at least some of you. I don't know everyone's agreement there. Don't like the idea that she met the legal requirements, therefore she's obligated. Which brings me to an issue. There was another reason why I stood against this, was because my reading of 110.25 number of license says that there are 2 Class A and or Class A license. It was determined that there was that license available. So my question is, right now, is there a 4 license? And if there are 4 licenses, I believe that I would have done this probably last time, try to move to clarify that to say there was only 2. But she got in under that, so I think that by the next council meeting, we should change that to specify that there are 3 licenses currently, and of course if one of those licenses were lost, you could always reduce it at that time. I do believe that there is a heavy saturation in this community of liquor license, and I think that it's not going to be advantageous to any business to allow multiple liquor licenses, because all you do is dilute and you take away from the pool of people. So my recommendation is, unless there's any objection, we visit this number of licenses by the next council meeting.
The thing about this is, and that's why I reduced them 20-some years ago, 25 years ago, was because of the fact that if that license is open and they qualify, you got to give it to them.
Which is my vote. So
That's why I think you're right, we need to get rid of it. We need to slim this thing down, trim it up, make it a lot better than what it is. This liquor code needs to be revamped. I think it's something that has to be revisited about every 10 to 12 years.
I brought this up back when the caterer was asking for ones, that there was open licenses, we needed to trim them down and get rid of any open licenses.
You know, you brought up another thing right there in that caterer. I think when she goes to use that license, I think we need to know about it. Where's she going to do that in town? And we can add that in, and she'd have to come and report to us. Whether we didn't charge any fee or anything for that, and if it's a license for every special thing, but she's got that license, but I think she needs to do that.
she has that. She does that now, right?
Does she report to us when she's going to use it?
No, but I believe that there was a fee attached to it. There's no fee for the, out here in the square. There was no fee to
Talk about that too.
Okay, there was no fee for that.
There's $25.
That's right, there was, right. But I think.
But then there's another little issue right there. That in the square, that's another thing that we maybe need not to do, because that's bringing in somebody else, whether it's the wine tasting. Now, I don't know how strong this farmer's market's going to be next year. It might fizzle. If somebody doesn't want to take the bull by the horns and run it, it's not going to work. Just kind of say, okay, let's have this, and then I'm not going to do anything anymore. I'm done. Walk away from it and let it work, trying to figure its own self out. You can't do that. You've got to be there working this thing. It's just like anything. So I'm not too sure that we need to have that.
So you don't have anyone currently at this meeting that has applied for a liquor license, so now would be the time.
There's no one applied. I would say right at this time, we need to clarify that, the number of licenses, and that is 110.25, number of license. There shall be issued in the city no more than a total of 2 Class A and/or Class A1 license. I'd like that clarified.
Like it's scratched.
To
Either they want to sell package, they don't want to sell package. If you're going to sell package, have them get another license for package. Because that's what that comes down to, that's what that's all about, I think. I get that 1A out of there. That's just confusing, is all that is.
any other non-agenda items?
Well, back to the caterer, why would we have a caterer report to us on the liquor, on the use of
One
her
of she's
license?
using it
When she's authorized to use it at any catering event she has.
in town. We'd like to know where that's at. You don't think that's a good idea?
No, not really, you're getting into micromanaging her business.
I'm not with micromanaging, I just want to know where it's at, so we're not going to tell her she can't have it there. She can't cater there. But just trying to know where she's at and what she's doing. We're just letting her kind of just freelance, you know?
I mean, I can see if a problem comes up where the police have to get involved, then we can look back and say, hey, you misused it, and we can take action from there.
Just, just need to know where it's at, so we have a record of it. Doesn't hurt that, we're not going to harass her or anything like that. I don't see that.
But you're having her go through extra steps to conduct her daily business.
I think it's just a phone call, Scott.
Okay.
I think it's just a phone call to Sandy and say, we're going to have this event here, and maybe Sandy would note that in her file, and you think that's a fair enough assessment? You can do that, couldn't you? Sure. I think it's only fair to us, fair to her. Not being unreasonable about this.
Any other non-agenda items, other business? Entertain a motion to
So moved.
adjourn.
Second.
Call it.
Harden,
Yes.
McKinley,
Yes.
Testori,
Yes.
Jenkins, Klein,